Bukola now joins me to bring us up to speed with what you've been saying on X. Bukola.
You know, Jeffrey, as I said earlier, we have quite a spread today. There's a lot to talk about. The new Minister of Education resumed by announcing the scrapping of the 18-year benchmark for admission into tertiary institutions. We'll also be touching on River State, where there is a challenge of flooding currently. But Jeffrey, your prayer, or would I say prophecy, from a few days ago last week seems to have come to pass with the collapsing of the national grid one more time. I believe the 9th time already this year.
Okay, they have what they call grid and disturbance and setback. All of this name means there's no light. So it's not a prayer that I prayed for Nigeria. I only was saying what is fact. So this one has happened. It will happen again because the things that are supposed to be done, until we fix it, we'll just keep managing. That's just about it.
And we can't talk enough about how this leaves a question mark on the security installation around those critical national assets. And I recall that day one of our guests was asking that, you know, the security infrastructure put in place by the TCN must be looked into, reviewed, to see whether indeed the TCN is doing its job of securing the national asset. But there should also be a kind of security architecture for critical national assets provided for by the security institutions, i.e. the police or the armed forces. So all of those questions need to be asked. We call on the House of Representatives to, you know, compel a hearing and perhaps invite the heads of those institutions, you know, so that we'll not be talking about this again. But that's where we're starting off, Jeffrey.
Okay.
And Mabel is the first user this morning. Mabel says, again? What will it take the federal government to tackle this problem once and for all? We're asking the same questions, Mabel.
Yes. So if we can get the next one, so we'll get to catch up with what you've been saying as far as Bukola, you get me that one as well. Yes, this one. Mr. Opar needs to explain to Nigerians exactly what is happening. We can't be facing issues in all aspects of our economy now.
I tell you, I say Nigerian parlance. George says setbacks are just part of the game. Really, the national grid's challenges remind us that resilience is key. Well, this sounds like sarcasm. Every restoration is a chance to rebuild stronger.
We will get there. Let's be optimistic. We'll get there. But I must give it to the guys who handle the social media of TCN. They give you hour by hour report of what is going on. I think I must commend you for that. Must commend you guys. So let's have the next one so we can bring you up to speed with as many things you're saying. This is how much should we contribute to buy power bank? Come on, guys.
Enough of sarcasm today.
What?
This is from
power
Beauty,
bank for National Grid?
We get you.
What? Okay.
We get you. Jerry is the next user. Jerry says, is it every 4 market days?
AK market days.
AK market days that it will collapse? Countries fighting wars have steady light. Well, we call power supply here in these parts light. So he continues by saying, what's the problem of this national grid? Gaga. Gaga will be really.
Yeah. Does it need
national prayers?
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Abdul is the next user.
Abdul?
Yes,
okay.
and there you have it.
Let's see what Abdul is saying. States can now generate and transmit and distribute electricity. It's now left for the competent governors to look for investors. But we recently had a partnership with an international company to generate 100 megawatts solar. That's why we must give it to Akwa Ibom State. They've done a great job, successive leadership, you know. At the end of the day, that's why if you notice, when they report the grid, somehow Akwa Ibom has light because they have their installation and all of that. So kudos to them. All other governors should emulate that as well.
Yeah, and that would be such a welcome development. On to the next talking point now, Jeffrey.
Yes.
President Tinubu promotes acting COAS Oluyede to the rank of Lieutenant General, and Jeannie is the first user.
Yeah,
Jeannie.
It was just take those pictures will be showing where that happened. But Bukola can read. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeannie is very, very definitive about his view or their view this morning, and they say that about seals it. The acting in parenthesis part is coming off. I pray Lagbaja is fine, and that's our prayer.
Yeah, that's our prayer. We don't know what's going on with Tarid Lagbaja, the substantive chief, as it's called, but a new man is in charge now. That's him. Is now the acting chief of army staff. But let's read your thoughts even more. That's the president has decorated him and congratulating him, flanked by other officers. Lukman said, congratulations to him. May God Almighty use him to improve the welfare and conditions of Nigerian army personnel.
And Dr. Udo says, that's a clear indication that the former COAS isn't returning to the role. Every senior officer to Oluyede will now be forced to retire as they can't take orders from a junior. It will be interesting to see if any of his seniors will sit back and absorb the humiliation.
Well, it's a culture here. The commander-in-chief has done what the commander-in-chief has to do. So at the end of the day,
that's as honest as this view can get about the reality of the situation. All
right, Claude says, sorry, Bukola. So we currently have 2 acting lieutenant generals in the Nigerian Army. I don't think so. There's a substantive one that's not feeling well, and there's this one. So let's search to where Dr. Tunji Alausa, who was the Minister of State for Health, who's now the Minister of Education, has to say about what was done by Tahir Maman, professor, talking about the issue of admission into higher institution. 18 years was the limit. Until you get there, you can't get in. So let's find out what you are saying.
Maybe we'll take just 2 of this so that we can cover all that. Yeah.
George, this could be a game changer for many aspiring students. By abolishing the 18-year admission benchmark, Dr. Alausa is opening doors for those ready to learn regardless of age. Education should have no barriers.
Well, let's be clear that the new minister says it will return to what it was before, being 16 years benchmark, not 18 years anymore. So we can't leave it open. It's not necessarily any age. So we can't have a 12-year-old in a tertiary institution. Zoe Adiola says, yes, for now, they may remove the 18-year admission benchmark into tertiary institutions, but they should start working on regulating that aspect. There is a need for control in this regard. And, you know, this is as profound as it gets, because I remember we talked about this, and Kadi was calling for whatever policy should be based on data. What's the data available to show that indeed 16-year-olds can survive in a tertiary institution, or 18-year-olds can survive in a tertiary institution? But let's go to the next talking point.
I think we have a video for the next one. So we don't know what played out here, but there was a disagreement between maybe a bus driver. Okay, before we get there, let's talk about what happened in Rivers State. There's a flood that happened in Rivers State. I think in our Hoda West local government, this is almost a recurrent issue. So, okay, I understand it's Sele in Oshodi area as well.
Okay, let's go to Lagos now.
Let's go to Lagos first. So
we'll have that video.
We can have that video. Yes. Okay, now I mixed it up. So this one now, so please, viewer discretion is advised. This is what played out in Sele Oshodi, I think yesterday, between LASMA officials and a bus driver. We don't know what their disagreement was, but somehow we don't know where that fire came from. So we'd like you to watch it, but viewer discretion is advised, and then we'll take your response.
Holy shit!
So that's a video of what played out. So if you watch, you see what's going on. Boom, fire. What played out?
Where the fire came from, we do not know.
We don't know where it came from. But this is where I was afraid of. When the man was running to the center of the road, and then a tanker perhaps
was coming.
Those are
another danger.
That was really dangerous.
Suffice it to say that we must not lose our humanity.
Very
as
dangerous.
much as this is candid camera.
And then the LASMA officials started racing.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they were running away from danger, because it looks like people want to attack them and all of that. I don't know. So see all those tankers there, and there was fire around here.
Yeah.
That was really dangerous.
And as much as this is candid camera, and we appreciate being able to see this happen, you know, maybe not real time, but reported. But we must not lose our humanity because of the commentary coming from the person recording the video. It was insensitive and not, you know, having any form of emotion for whatever was transpiring and the danger that, you know, those beneath must be going through. You know, so we needed to put that through as well.
All right. So let's get to a few of your comments. Sergeant Show says, if your clothes or yourself ever caught fire, running is the last thing to do. Get away from the source and roll on the ground as fast as you could. Running would only supply the fire air to the fire, maybe oxygen to the fire, and we all know what that could do. Because like, you have the
True. And Ray says, frustration day, everybody, body already. That's everyone is going through frustration already. Make these road traffic officers take things easy. More of these will occur in these harsh times. I go by feel 1K plus. One road safety or last mile officer go one extort me join. Jeffrey, right. You are the Pidgin English expert, so break it down.
I'm not. So, but just before we wrap up and get to our very first conversation, our guest is already seated and waiting for us. The issue of Ahoda West, right? Ahoda West local government area. We'll just see that video of the flooding that was reported, if we can get that. But let me read your thoughts of somebody. C Vibe says, okay, that's the video. That's the video. Farmland, homes, road submerged. So
103 communities, I believe, is reportedly affected by this flooding that is as a result of the release of water, overflow rather of the Orashi River. And a federal government committee is currently embarking on an assessment tour of the dams in the country. And so we hope that the reports will come through as honest as they can get. We've been told that the Goronyo Dam is okay, but if there is an overflow from the Orashi River and it is leading to this with all of the attendant consequences on agriculture and businesses, the federal government must do something about these as quickly as possible, so that sustainability of lives and property can be ensured in these communities. See Vibes,
let's hope for quick assistance and recovery. Those affected, nature can be relentless. I think producers say we have one more. Something that happened at what's it called, Pinnock Estate, where a resident did not properly lock up their dog, and the dog actually attacked the security man. So actually mauled the security man to death. Yes, mauled him to death, literally. So you can see the dogs around. That we have to blur the pictures so that you don't see the level of the extent to which this happened. And for those who may be sensitive to visuals like this. So the man is laying on the floor where his blood is dead. The dogs literally killed him, mauled him to death. 3 of those dogs. I'm not a big fan of dogs, but respect to those who have dogs. These are the reasons why I don't have dogs in my house. But hey, but I understand that the person has been arrested, the individual has been arrested and all of that. So Simply Unique says, this is sad. Man is hunting for his daily bread. Now dog has hunted him as a daily bread. The owner of the dog, I guess, will be devastated, but in the end, the deed has been done. May God comfort his family. So those are some of your thoughts as far as this is concerned. So we try to track as many things as possible you're talking about on social media, on the streets of Lagos and across Nigeria as a whole. But hey, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to our very first conversation for the day. Senior Advocate of Nigeria will be joining us to talk about the state of the nation, the shrinking civic space, and the judiciary in focus. S.A.N. Adegborough joins us just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.